Alright friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Alpha Heavy Gamer and today's video is on the F-16C. So some general impressions first before we dive into the specifics. I received this plane from Gaijin and I was pretty hyped to get started on the review on it. The F-16C does not feel like a side grade at all. This is definitely an upgrade to the A. If you're a US main, you need this plane. If I could put this aircraft picture next to the definition of multi-role in the dictionary, I'd do it in a minute. This plane it oozes capability. After all, it is the Viper that we always wanted. So let's jump into the review. So let's talk about flight performance. The aircraft performance is extremely good. The F-16 flight model is no longer kneecapped by the 9G limit. It can pull a little more and it feels good. I mean, the jet just doesn't handle like an F-104 anymore at high speed, which I really appreciate. In fact, it actually feels pretty surgical when you fly it. You know, you point the nose where you want it and it just goes there. It kind of feels like the ultimate dogfighter that everyone was looking for when the F-16 made its first appearance in the game in the Apex Predators update. For comparison though, the F-16C is a little heavier than the A and the ADF, but you have a more powerful engine. The GE F110-129 engine balances out the weight. And, you know, as with the SMT, the fuel endurance of the F-16 is quite nice. However, just like the SMT, after the first flight in the new Viper, I stopped carrying the centerline fuel tank. I think you just don't need it. You're going to have to find your happy place though with how much fuel you want to carry. I found carrying the 42 minutes of fuel, it kind of works for me, especially if I go hard on the AB. I have a little bit left once the main fight is over. But you know, you're gonna have to play with that back and forth. Pouncing on SMTs though in a low speed fight is kind of fun in the F-16C, but it does hardly ever happen because there's just so many other players around. Even if you get a chance for a 1v1, you can rest assured it won't stay a 1v1 for long because you're probably gonna get third partied. Overall, the F-16C from a flight model perspective is enjoyable to fly for me. Okay, so let's talk about the weapons on this Block 50 F-16. Of course, we have the 20mm Vulcan, which is always amazing. Great gun. We have the AIM-7M, which is your main BVR weapon. We already know about that missile. Won't really need to go into it in detail. You know, the R-27ER is just better. But the AIM-9M is quite different. A different story here. The fact is that you have a helmet-mounted sight for the AIM-9M, but that isn't what makes it so powerful. It's not even a high off-bore sight missile. It is the infrared countermeasures and the smokeless motor as a combo that give this missile its edge. I mean, when I'm using it, it even surprises me sometimes. Like I'll shoot it, I'll lose track of it because you just can't see where it goes anymore. And you know, a couple seconds later, boom, somebody blows up, and I'm like, oh, I actually got him. The missile wasn't defeated at all. So it has that It Follows type of vibe. That's a really good movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But like it just keeps going. It's like a zombie. It will reacquire you if you're trying to run from it, if you don't use the appropriate countermeasures and then maneuver out of the way. And it'll just keep trying again as long as it has energy. So this is anecdotal, but it does appear to have better IRCM than the R73, and you know, that's just me and my impressions on that. I don't have any data to back it up, but because the AIM-9Ms are so good, you might be tempted just to take 6 of those and just leave the 7Ms in the hangar. I mean, everyone's hugging the ground anyway, and it's just a different way to play the jet, you know, just leave the 7Ms and carry IR only. But you can get some amazing BVR kills with the 7M. On people that go high. So there's some people still going high. I still do it. That's kind of my play style. I like to get up high and then kind of dive down. But if you get caught out up high, it could get pretty nasty these days. The APG-68 V7, the version 7 radar, is really good on the Block 50. You finally get that track while scan, which is a mode that I had been missing in the F-16 ADF and the A. So let's switch up a little bit and talk about the ground side of the weapons. I mean, you have the Lightning II pod, which enables your smart weapons. It is the best targeting pod in the game. The crisp thermal image is pretty good. You can find targets easily. You have a lot of tools in your toolbox for the F-16C. You have the AGM-65D Mavericks. You have the GBU-12 and 24 Paveway 3 bombs. And you have, of course, lots of dumb rockets and dumb bomb choices. To me, this is hands down the best CAS plane in the US tech tree and maybe even in the game. And even if you love the A10, if you're a Warthog driver, you gotta acknowledge the versatility of the F-16C. Overall, like I've been saying, the weapons are great. You have CCIP, CCRP for the bombs. You also have that for the CCIP for the guns and rockets, and also you have the enhanced envelope gun sight for air-to-air engagements. Now let's talk about the defensive systems. The ALR-56M radar warning receiver is very good with its missile launch notifications and track notifications. Most of the time, the track notification, the point outs, it kind of takes the friendly missiles into account as well, so it can get a little bit confusing. I know there's probably no real way to split this up because that's just how it is. It's a very dense threat environment. Everybody's shooting. The radar warning receiver is just getting a little bit overloaded, but it does make for some heart-pumping games though. I mean, the immersion is pretty good. I love how it tells you, missile 3 o'clock high or 6 o'clock and tells you how to evade. That's pretty cool. It's a whole new level here. You carry more consumables in the SMT, which is pretty good. The 60-60 split, if you're carrying mixed, I mean, sometimes it can get you through, but the sheer amount of enemies out there, I mean, you could just exhaust your supply and not have enough. So that's one of those things where you're just going to have to be a little bit more diligent on when you use it. So next I'll talk about ground RB playability. I already talked about the weapons, and this video is really air-to-air centric. But for the ground players, for the US tech tree, you are spoiled for choice when it comes to CAS. I kind of talked about this before. The F-16C certainly brings additional capability and blends it all together in a nice, tidy multi-role package. You can defend yourself really well from ground and air threats in this plane. But if you're just wanting to get the F-16C for close air support, I wouldn't really grind it just for CAS, especially if you already have the F-16A or even the F-14B. Those aircraft are super good for close air support. And, even if you're like, screw those, I fly the A10 and that's all I fly. Even if you just drive the Warthog, you still have really good close air support. So overall, what's my verdict on the F-16C? It's definitely a must grind. It's really good. It's not a side grade. It definitely is an upgrade from the F-16A. Of course, like I said, if you just want it for close air support and nothing else, I don't think it's something that you should prioritize grinding. But if you're a US main, of course you're going to get it. You will have this plane. And if you haven't grinded through the US tech tree and you're coming in, I would say that the F-16C is a worthy prize to have. This is the Viper aficionados always wanted, right? This is the one we actually wanted to have. And it is a better jet now that the flight model has been reworked. And even for the A's, in the ADF, those handle a lot better. The amazing AIM-9Ms, they're very impressive, really good missile, and this jet's just going to get better. Once the active radar homing missiles come into the game, it'll have the AMRAAM, it'll eventually have the AIM-9X, so the air-to-air potential is only going to get better. I think the air-to-ground potential will get better as well. It already has good close air support kit. Yeah, and when and if seed mechanics come, the harm targeting system and the harm missile will be added as well, so it'll be even more amazing. Lots of potential growth with this jet. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the AIM-9M is overpowered? Do you think the flight model for the F-16C reflects what the aircraft really should be? And overall, are you having fun with the patch? I thought this was a really good update. I'll be talking about this update specifically in my next video, which is going to be biggest winners and losers of Sons of Attila. So thanks again guys for tuning in. If you liked the video, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the future.